Okay, so in the second part of 6.1, what we're talking about is mirror images or reflections. So you have this in front of you, and to sketch this R exactly like it looks here with a dotted line at the base, what we're going to do is we're going to reflect that R around the dotted line, around that line, and we're going to basically draw this R upside down. So everything is going to flip down to this side, every little piece. This, the E here, the vertical line is the mirror line, so it's going to be flipped over this way. So the R goes up 4 squares, so the R goes down 4 squares. It goes over 2 before it starts to curve, so this is going to go over 2. It's going to curve over 1 square, down 2, so this one's going to curve over 1 square, down 2. And then here we come over to this point right here, so that has to meet. And you see how we're kind of building this reflection here. So everything looks exactly the same, and you even have this little rounded part here. Okay? So that's what your reflection like, and in the same way you do the E, and this is what they should look like when you are done, the R and the E reflected. Okay? So remember, with a reflection, we're not stretching, enlarging, reducing. We're not really rotating. We're just taking a copy and reflecting it. So the reflection will be the exact same size as the original, but it'll be an inverted shape, like it'll be a reflected mirror image shape. Okay? So build your skills. Your job is to write your first name in capital letters, then reflect it over a horizontal reflection line. So if we take, now you can draw your letters, you don't have to draw them in 3D, okay, like the R and the E there. You could just draw it like this. So let's say I'm going to draw my first name, J, E, F, F, okay, like this. And then I'm going to draw a reflection line at the base of those letters, just like you're going to do. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to draw a reflection. This point right here gets reflected down here. This point is going to stay the same. And then, you know what I mean, you can kind of do it like this. So everything, every little part is a mirror image now. And that top line looks like this. Okay, so there's my J reflected horizontally, and so on. So you go ahead and finish your name. Again, it doesn't have to be big 3D block letters. It just has to look something like this. Okay. So I'll give you a few minutes to finish that, and you can go ahead and work on 6 and 7 as well. Okay, so there's 6 and 7. You can go ahead and work on that right now. So for number 6, there's your start, and you can continue trying to find all the other letters that would have the same. And number 7, reflect the following image over the indicated vertical reflection line, and even shade the squares that are shaded on the original. Okay. When you're done that, what I'll get you to do is I'll invite you to look here at example 3 and study example 3, which is also a reflection. And this is going to be a vertical and horizontal reflection, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. Okay, so example 3, it says reflect this triangle ABC in the y-axis. Okay? The y-axis is the one that's vertical, right? So here's the y, right here. So you do not have to draw the entire shape. Boys, listen back there. We don't have to draw the entire shape all at once, okay? What you want to do is you want to piece together each individual point and then connect the points. That's going to be the easiest. So for example, if I reflect this, if I reflect this about the y-axis, let's take A first, and let's see that A is 1 unit away from the y-axis. So I need to go 1 unit in the opposite direction. This is going to be A prime. See that? And then C, if you look at this horizontal line right here, right, this one right here, that's the horizontal line that C is on. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units this way. So I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 this way. So now I have C prime. Do the same thing for B, and then you can just connect the dots. And that's going to be probably the easiest way to draw these reflections, okay? So it doesn't have to be that difficult. Use a ruler, please, if you can. Don't be shabby like me here. I can't really use a ruler on this tablet, but connect the points as best you can, and then that's your reflection in the Y. So if you notice, every point that's on the original and on the reflected is the exact same distance away from the y-axis, even the points that aren't the corners. Okay, so every corresponding point is the exact same distance from the reflection line. So the second part of that is to reflect it in the x-axis, and I'll just show you. Here's the solution that you should have in front of you as well. Here's what the second one looks like. And notice this, that for the second image, they just do a little double prime there. So A prime or a tick mark. Use 2 tick marks for the second image. Okay? In the practice problems here that you're going to do, it's the very same thing, except it gives you a shape that's not a triangle. This might be a little bit tougher maybe, but you have this in front of you and it asks you to reflect the shape over the y-axis and over the x-axis. So do the exact same thing that we just did in that example. That's for number 8. And number 9 is a very similar thing. Draw the mirror image over the y-axis and so on. So take a few moments now to work on number 8 and number 9. So example 4 is the next thing we want to talk about, and this is now lines of symmetry we're talking about. So if we're talking about a line of symmetry, that would be a straight line that we can draw through an object that would cut it in half so that we would have a mirror image on top and a mirror image on the bottom. Or a line vertically that would make a mirror image on the left and a mirror image on the right. So as you see here, if we look at these letters, and I'll just zoom in on the solutions here. So A has a vertical line of symmetry, this dotted line right here. Okay? Dotted line right here. That splits it in half. Now there is no line of symmetry horizontally, because if we did this, the top would not be the exact same as the bottom. So that's why there isn't one there. Whoops. Okay. What happened there? I'm not really sure. Okay, here we go. So C has a horizontal line of symmetry as well. R doesn't have any line of symmetry, not even an angular line, right? Diagonal. Doesn't have any line of symmetry. D would have one there. H has 2, and so does U. So if you look at your problems next, now we're talking about lines of symmetry. The reflection line would be a line of symmetry. And in number 11, we look at the different flags of the different countries. And you should be able to see a line of symmetry for the Canadian flag right down the middle vertically. So it travels right through the stem there and the tip of the leaf there. So that's, now there isn't one this way, right? There's not one here because the top is not exactly the same as the bottom, and hopefully you see that now. So we'll just get rid of those lines. Austria, okay? So this one has a vertical line right down the middle, and it also has horizontal line. Okay, the Union Jack from United Kingdom. Okay, so we have different ones here. South Korea, we have lots of Koreans in the school here. So anyways, some of these wouldn't have any lines of symmetry. Some of them might have more than one. So it's up to you to sketch those lines. And that, I think, is getting pretty close to the last example. We'll work with rotations next. I'm not sure if we'll save that for the next lesson or not. Let's see, we have a little bit of time, so why don't you take a moment and finish up to number 12 anyways for now, and then we'll see if we continue on. Okay, so we were talking about rotations now. I'm going to show you a little video. I've linked the link to the video in the, hey guys, in your Google Classroom. So if you want to watch this video at home, you can. I won't show the video from YouTube on this actual lesson, just for copyright and stuff, but this is what it looks like. It's translations, reflections, and rotations. So we're going to take a few minutes and watch this, and we'll talk about rotations near the end there. Okay, so if you want to watch this at home, you can. Okay, so here's the summary of the video we just watched here. So a reflection flips about a line. A translation is one we already know that moves. It moves to the left or right and up or down. And a rotation turns about some pivot point. So if you're a basketball player or you watch basketball, if you're not dribbling, you have to keep 1 foot stationary, and that's your pivot. You can go in any direction, just like you can rotate yourself around that pivot point. Okay? So I'd encourage you to watch this video. It's good. Turtle diary here, I guess. Yeah, very well laid out. So one thing I will mention, though, that we have to add for our class is you need to know what the quadrants are. So this might be a summary for you. I hope it's a refresher. But there's when you have a coordinate plane with two vertical line and a horizontal line, x and y axis, it splits space, or it splits the grid into 4 quadrants. And so this is quadrant 1 here, where the points are both positive. The coordinates are positive x and positive y. And then it goes counterclockwise. This is quadrant 2, and this is quadrant 3, and then this is quadrant 4. Okay? All right. So you can read through this if you want. 90-degree rotation and 180 and 270. You should have an idea of what those look like, and I'll just draw this on here. This original darker shape, this is a rotation of 90 degrees here, because if you draw a line here and a line through the reflected, it makes a right 90 degrees here. Okay, so that's kind of what that looks like. And then, of course, this one here, the rotated down to here, that's 180. Okay, and then this one here, let's make this the color blue, all the way around to this one, that's 270. Okay, 270 degrees. And then the shape, if you rotate it 360 degrees, it lands exactly back on itself. Okay, so again, the red is 90 degrees, the blue, the black is 180 degrees, and then the blue here is 270. Any questions about that? All right. So here are the build your skills questions for the rotation, and we do have a few minutes of class left, so you can get started on these ones. There's 13 and 14, and here is 15, and then we'll talk about dilations a little bit more detail tomorrow.